We're about to watch the now famous supermarket sweep clip. Look at all that hair.
Mark, how do you know Tim?
Tim's my business partner.
Business partners.
Business partners. Yeah, a little bit more than that.
There was a conversation underneath the photo from Supermarket Sweep. Like, I wonder if they're still together today. We post a little picture in a little paragraph, a couple of lines, and say, here we are, and we are together still. When I woke up the next morning, picked up my phone and looked at it, and I'm like, oh, this is so nice. This is so, look at what people are writing.
This far exceeds what I think what we would have or could have won on that show. Back then, you had to keep a lot of things, quiet, depending on who you were around. I think maybe they see that now, that we're able to live who we are, and maybe that we're still together too. Yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah, let's do this.
My first impression of Tim, wow, you're tall.
He's got the most piercing, gorgeous blue eyes.
He was very good looking.
I think because he's so shy and reserved, it just made me want to learn more. It still does.
Tim.
Me.
My store is Home Depot, his is Nordstrom, so there you go. We taped the show for weeks before we taped the layout of the supermarket, so to speak. And
we really had researched the store, watched episodes, and mapped it out.
I think we tried too hard or practiced too hard.
When I took off to run,
On your mark, get set, go, Tim. Go, go, you got 30 seconds.
right on my first step, I'm like, I can't breathe, and I'm, coughing and running through the store. So I think it was partly that. People would always ask, if you could get married, would you? And it was a difficult question to ask because I honestly did not think it would ever happen in my lifetime. That was the exact day. We got married on the beach.
We did the regular vows, that everyone says, and then we did write our own as well.
When we were doing our vows, everything else became just so in the moment. You don't really even notice the world around you. And people were beginning to gather. So when we finished, they were also emotional and clapping for us. And I was like, oh, I didn't realize we had an audience.
We realized down the road that, yeah, they do mean a lot, and they're not just words on a piece of paper. So when did you realize you wanted to spend the rest of your life with me?
I remember thinking, this is the first person I've ever met that I can in my head visualize what we would look like when we grow old together, and hoping that it would come to pass.
When I met Tim, his family knew. I never came out when my mom was still alive, which I regret to this day because I feel like she probably missed a big part of my life.
Well, I know she would have been supportive. I know she loved you very much, and I know she would have been very supportive.
Well, she always said, you're the other son she never had.
She did, yeah.
Without acknowledging that we were even together.
Right.
So maybe in the back of my head, she knew. Maybe she knew and accepted it, and that's all she needed to know. But
yeah,
it was just never talked about.
So if you could go back and talk to the younger version of yourself, who you were when we met, what advice would you give to him?
Just enjoy your life to the fullest, because this is it, I can't imagine where I would be, if we hadn't met. I can't imagine being any happier than I am, actually. What would you say?
I'd just give him a hug, because there were a lot of times in my teenage years where I was not learning who I was, especially, being a gay man. I would say, just love yourself. I would have never foresaw the changes that have happened in society. So when we started, there was no piece of paper
No.
to say you're legally bound.
So we didn't have the role models for same-sex couples like a lot of people did growing up. Yeah, there's just a lot of things that have progressed that you don't have to continually look over your shoulder or go out to eat, just two guys sitting at a table. And, you don't get the looks like,
What do I mean to you?
you've become my rock, been my lifeboat at times, and I consider us soulmates. I think there's a reason we found each other.
You're my net that I can take the high wire act, and not, if I fall, you're always there. And I have fallen and been through some, catastrophic illnesses and things, and you've been there for me and held me up in ways that I never would have foresaw when we first met. What would be the hardest thing you'd say that we've been through together?
It crushed me just to see you, go through what you had to do, And I know it was as much a low point in your life as it was mine, but
I couldn't have gotten through
least
it without you being there for me. And twice. I had cancer when I was young. When you're so in love with somebody and a relationship, you don't want to hurt them. You don't ever feel like you did something that hurt them. And when you have something that's out of control, like cancer, and you see that and know that it was crushing you the way it did, I knew that I'm going to get through this. And you always assured me that you are. We have too many plans for you not to make it through this.
Right.
So many times we've been reminded to don't take this for granted. And, I don't think that we do, but when we got this overwhelming response on the internet about our relationship, it made me realize, that it's not something that just happens every day, that happens to everyone, how special it is. I will always be there with you and for you and enjoy each precious moment together. I look forward to continuing the incredible journey that we have had and will have together, discovering what's just around the next corner. Choosing you as my husband was the single most important decision I have ever made, and the best decision I have ever made. Because of your love, I feel like anything is possible, any challenge can be met, and our options are endless. Thank you for being you, for being patient with me, and all of the care that you have given to me, and for loving me when I was at my least lovable.
I will always be here for you, no matter what. I look forward to sharing future adventures, whether it's traveling to exotic destinations or walking along a beach at sunset, and to see what we look like in another 41 years. I've learned that we've been through both good and not so good times together, and we've survived. I feel that there's nothing that can stand in our way as long as we're in it together. Because of you, your love, I feel I can do anything, be anything, and that I know you are and will always be there for me. Thank you for being my biggest cheerleader. I love you.
I love you.